Okay, so this is a video on how to use GoFormative. The first thing you have here is your pens. Change your colors. You can change your thickness of your lines, however thick you want to be. I'm about in the middle. Dash lines, fill the shapes. We'll go through that here in a second. But if you fill your shapes, drawing things out and everything else, the thicker your line, the bigger the dot. So if I want to plot points, it's a circle. I'm scribbling, so it's big. They are dashed, so it's kind of dashing it out. Erasers over here to the left. Erase out what I've done. Dash lines, just draw on a dash line. Fill shape, show you what that looks like. If you hit your circle, you want to draw a circle out. It'll be as thick as you want it to be, based on the thickness that you have. I like the middle one. Okay, and if you have not filled in, that's how you get an open circle. I can actually get that to change and save. Maybe you don't want to draw your circles out. So if you just plot it, it's closed. Erase that out again. So graphing points depend on how you want to do it. I like to just do a point. So if I was to do this work here, I have 2y equals 3x plus 4. If you don't have enough room to write, I know some of you guys it's really large based on your window. You can hit this magnifying glass, you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, and now I've lost my room where to write. If you grab the hand to the left, you can drag it around. So you can drag the picture over to the left or to the right to write out what you want. Solve it. So solve for y, I get y equals 3/2 x plus 2. And so I want to go back to graph. I remember what I need to graph. So I'm going to go scribble. I'm going to go to +2. Alright. And then my slope's up 3/2. And if I go down 3/2, if you want to have more dots to get your lines, I just sketch my line. So I scribble and I just draw a line that goes through those points as best I can. If I wanted that line to be dashed, change my color here for an inequality. You can draw a dashed line. Make sure you have those arrows on the ends. Shading. You can shade dashed. You can change solid. Make sure your points that you graphed are big enough so I can actually see them. Text box. Depending on how big your font is, if you have it really small, or how zoomed in and zoomed out you are, depends on if you can see it. Once you click on a box and you start typing, you can see it. Whatever color your line is or that you last used, that's your font color. If you hit enter, it gives you a new line. If you leave it and you click somewhere else, you can re-click on where your letters are and you can restart typing in there. Selection tool is this little square. Allows you to move things. So I can move all my drawings if I want. So I can move a single line. Be careful with what you move and everything else. You can't use a selection tool. You used to be able to select multiple things. You only can select certain things. Same with erasing. You used to be able to erase everything. If you don't like what you just undid, this left arrow is undo. You can't do forwards, but you can undo what you just did. Last thing we have is how to upload a picture. So I've already saved a picture to my computer. If you hit the image box and you hit my computer, you can find completed notes pictures. I'm going to actually go to a different file here. I'm going to go to my desktop actually I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to my documents, school files. Oh, stop editing. Oh my gosh, open. And then I have some homework here. Image. When you see that image upload, you can upload it to any of the show your work questions. The graphs I expect you to actually graph on GoFormative. It'll preview out your image. Depending on how much resolution there is. If you want, you can rename your image. You don't have to. Hit add image, and then it adds it on there. So that's one way you could add up all your work, but know that if you're going to add this picture, which you can move, you can change the size of it, you can rotate it, which is really kind of cool because you can do that now. But if you add this in, be conscious of the time that you use, and then when you get done you can hit submit, and then all your work's there. And anything you write, so per se, if I took this picture and I moved it all the way over here off to the side, your picture that you show your work, I will see everything on there. So just be noticeable about that and everything else. The other thing I wanted to show you is when you are writing points. For example, if you're going to write inequality, use that keyboard. That's how you get your values. In order to get a fraction, you have to hit the question mark backspace bar on the answers. You get divisions. And then last but not least, I want to talk about this question real quick. I'm going to zoom in on it. That didn't really do what I wanted it to do. So we'll just zoom in here. This is a linear function. A lot of people are giving me single dots, the blue dots as your points, as your domain or range. If you do that, you're missing all the values in between. So you're missing this where my mouse is. You're missing that line, and this whole graph here. All lines are always going to be all real numbers because you can pick any x value you want to put in there. And then the range value, once again, is going to be all real numbers. And that means one input goes to one output, so one input. So if I pick an x value, I will get always an answer that falls on this line. So that's why it's all real numbers. Also includes everything in the world. Yes, this is a function. One input to one output. One x goes to one y. Everything else. Just really quick to show view responses as a student. When you do certain things, just really quick here, this one's mine. If you don't type exactly the way that I have it, you will get answers that are not the same, or you'll get marks wrong. So if I go back and view it as a student, and if I type in instead all real numbers to be numbers, because your teacher likes to shorthand things. If I go back to view responses, you can now see that my answer is wrong because that's not what I typed in as a solution. So you may be correct and know that you're correct, but just because right now it's showing you a red doesn't mean you're absolutely wrong.